Everybody always comes in, they're talking about how much they love the fact that their loved ones can't be corrected at all. They can't hear that they're wrong. They can't hear that they could possibly do things differently. And you know how people love to be around those who can't be corrected, right?
Oh man, I love being around people that are never wrong. It's my favorite.
Oh, how do we help someone who's in that situation? Because like one of the biggest things that I look for in marital therapy is, are these two people willing to correct for each other? Are they able to be adjusted, what their feelings are, what their opinions are, how correctable are they? Same thing in parenting. If you're a child and you're a parent, or you're a parent with your child, are you correctable?
Yeah, I've had this before where somebody, let's say a spouse, a wife might come home and maybe snaps at the husband, and the husband takes it, he gets defensive about it. He starts, well, you don't get to talk to me like that, and but why wouldn't your first response be, oh man, there's something wrong with my partner. What's wrong with her? How can I serve her now? But when you look through it through a lens of, being defensive, it's really easy then to say, well, I'm right. She should have talked to me like that, right? And it's this idea of how you're looking at your marriage and how you're looking at your relationship with somebody. I mean, if you truly love them, why are you being defensive about that? Why wouldn't you be worried about her and how can I serve her?
I do a lot of counseling with people who are just on the other side of the divorce, and they were right, and they're alone, and they go into new marriages, and they do everything right again, and then they end up alone again. What if a relationship was about correcting for each other?
Yes.
I never put the lid on my toothpaste until I got married, and I found out that it was important to my wife. It's a minor example, but there are these little corrections we do that add up over time that say, hey, I care about your opinion. I care about your needs. I can be correctable.
Yeah, and remember, when you're saying that you're right, you might be right for a guy who's single or your last marriage or whatever, but when you get into a new marriage and a new covenant with somebody, then you're coming together with that person. You have to be willing to compromise. You have to be willing to change. And it's not for the worst, it's for the better, the betterment and the integrity of the relationship. And if you're not willing to do that and you have to be right all the time, again, you're going to do this 5 or 6 times.
That's it's not a good place to be at. If it's a new marriage or if it's an old marriage, be correctable. If it's a parenting situation, you've got these kids that they're telling you what they need. They're telling you that they're mad, but they're probably doing it wrong because they're kids, and kids can't talk. They can talk, but they don't say what they mean. They say what they think they feel, and then you have problems. And so as a parent, if I have a kid who's now making terrible grades and they're not engaging, well, they might be telling me that they need to go to bed earlier. They might be telling me that there's something going on in the classroom that's distracting them. But be correctable in your approach instead of naturally assuming, I know everything, I'm right. Wait a minute, what if I'm not right?
Yeah, and I have one question to ask you. Who's the person in your life that you'll listen to when they say you're completely wrong about this, you need to change? If there's nobody, that's probably an issue right there.
Being correctable, becoming correctable, it helps us. In counseling, if someone comes in and they don't need to change, they're not going to, they're wasting my time, they're wasting their money, and nothing's going to happen. If you look at your life and you say, this is where I want to go and this is where I am and how can we get there, you'd be surprised at how far you can go, and there's nothing you really can't accomplish. Jack is a counselor, I'm a counselor. We'd love to help you. I mean, if you're correctable.